Today on Good Morning Maine, police are working to identify the victim of a suspicious death in Waterville.
Plus, a push is underway to exempt volunteer fire departments from a new OSHA rule that would make a lot of their equipment non-compliant.
And a race was on to help fund cancer care as people took part in the Champion the Cure Challenge.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up, including some coverage of the cardboard boat races they had in Belfast over the weekend. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll see how those boats held up. But first, to check of the forecast. Looks like unsettled weather to start the work week. We're dealing with the remnants of Hurricane Ernesto as it moves well out to sea up past the state of Maine, but it is going to be bringing some rain and a chance for some thunderstorms to our area.
You said it. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, and heavy equipment and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Lots of areas seeing some fog from Princeton to Moosehorn and areas further off towards the south and west along the southern parts of Maine, mainly along Bangor to even Millinocket, and areas further down to the south, so visibilities will be reduced for a while this morning, so please be careful with that. Surprisingly, no dense fog advisories posted, at least at this moment in time. We do have high surf advisories posted along the coast. That'll last until midnight Tuesday morning. Small crowd advisories also lasting until 6 a.m. along the coast on Tuesday morning also, and that's because of Ernesto moving out towards sea. That's that hurricane moving across the Atlantic at this time. Meanwhile, on land, it's a few showers to watch out for, otherwise clouds moving through. We'll have a few showers and a rumble of thunder today, but plenty of dry hours will greet us as well. Meanwhile, there's the showers and even a few rumbles of thunder developing along the Maine coastline, tracking off towards the north and east. Here's Ernesto right about in here, and that will be moving away from us. Futurecast moving forward, showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder today, and also in the parts of tonight, we'll start to see things dry out a little bit as we head towards the daytime tomorrow, at least during the early morning period. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, showers and storms possible, otherwise cloudy with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, police are investigating a suspicious death in Waterville. Authorities say Waterville police requested the assistance of the State Police Major Crimes Unit to respond to Cool Street for a report of a potential suspicious death. It happened around 8:30 Sunday morning. They have released very few details, but investigators could be seen going in and out of that house as they collected evidence yesterday. Police are continuing to work to identify the victim. The body was sent to the office of the medical examiner in Augusta, where an autopsy will be performed today to determine the cause and manner of death. Police say there is no threat to the public.
A suspect from a shooting incident in Lewiston was found dead after an hours-long search Saturday night into Sunday. The Lewiston Police Department says they received several calls at around 11:30 p.m. reporting that a male with a gun was in the area of Essex Street. Witnesses reported the male was firing the gun, although it's not clear at what. When officers arrived, police say the suspect fired his gun at them and then fled into the woods. Officers did not return fire. Several departments were called and established a perimeter in the area. Police say the suspect was located in the woods at around 3:30 a.m., dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The deceased suspect is being identified as 45-year-old Nathan Savage of Auburn. A handgun was recovered with his body. Savage's body was transported to the office of the chief medical examiner.
An inmate at Mountain View Correctional Facility died on Saturday morning. According to the Department of Corrections, resident Keith Bradford of Bangor passed away at around 3:30 Saturday morning. His death was attended by medical personnel. In 2019, Bradford began serving a 10-year sentence for unlawful sexual contact. His earliest possible release date was May of 2028. Bradford was 73 years old.
At last report, police were still searching for a vehicle that led them on a dangerous chase. A Penobscot County Sheriff's deputy chased the suspect Friday morning until the cruiser crashed into a ditch and the car sped away. Our Devin Dagnall has the story.
He's inbound Union Street, speed 90 plus. White male, facial hair, It looked like single occupant in the vehicle.
According to the Penobscot Sheriff's Office, just after 7 a.m., a deputy traveling on Route 222 in Levant observed a red Kia Soul allegedly traveling at criminal speeds. And as that officer was turning around, the Kia made a left turn and nearly struck an oncoming car. Stated in that same press release from the Penobscot Sheriff's Office, the deputy deemed the driver was an immediate risk to other motorists and pursued the Kia in an attempt to stop the vehicle.
Griffin Road approaching Pember. Speeds of 100.
And I was like, holy crap, that car is flying right by. I said, I hope nobody's pulling out of their driveway because there's no way he could stop.
The chase continued until the driver turned into a private driveway on the Kentuskeg-Levant Road and drove around a residence. The officer pursued, but when he attempted to return to the roadway, he slid across the lawn of the residence and crashed into a ditch.
Circling back through onto the road. 44 Penobscot, I just 50 into the ditch.
Lead deputy 1050, vehicle continued on.
The Kia fled the scene and continued to drive at high speeds when it was spotted and pursued by another officer. But that chase was ultimately called off by a superior.
156 Penobscot, I'm behind him now. We're inbound Union Street, red Kia Soul, making bad passes.
No injuries came as a result of the chase or the officer's crash. If you have any information about the red Kia Soul, please contact the Sheriff's Office. In Levant, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, an Ellsworth woman has been hospitalized with serious injuries after police say she fell asleep at the wheel. According to the state police, dispatch received a call about a box truck driving erratically northbound from mile marker 112 at around 3 o'clock on Friday. Police say as troopers were heading to intercept that truck, multiple calls came in to report that the same truck had crashed into a median at mile marker 118 in Sydney. Troopers believe the operator, 42-year-old Ashley Peters, fell asleep and left the roadway, entering the median before striking a tree and then rolling onto the passenger side. Police say Peters was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident and suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. She was taken to a local hospital.
Skowhegan Selectmen made the decision on Tuesday to continue withholding the final payment to the contractor of the town's new public safety building. The town still owes $20,000 to Benchmark Construction. Some of the councillors cited ongoing problems with leaking in the fire apparatus bay and problems with the front lawn. Police Chief David Bucknam was also serving as the interim town manager last winter. He said the company has been very responsive.
They have never not returned my phone calls. They have never not communicated with me. Anytime we have an issue, I find it, they send the right people up to get it fixed and worked on.
The board voted 3-1 to reduce the warrant by $20,000. That removes the payment to Benchmark Construction that was due in January.
Well, federal authorities say new efforts to convert some types of commercial fishing to ropeless gear that is safer for right whales will be supported by millions of dollars in funding. Federal fishing managers are promoting the use of ropeless gear in the lobster and crab fishing industries because of the plight of the North Atlantic right whale. The whales number less than 360, and they face threats from entanglement in fishing gear, along with collisions from large ships. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the federal government is committing nearly $10 million to save the right whales. Nearly $7 million of that will support the development of that ropeless fishing gear.
There's a push to exempt volunteer fire departments from a certain OSHA rule. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration proposed a new rule earlier this year that would require fire departments to furnish new reports, trainings, equipment, and health services. Senators Angus King and Susan Collins have joined a bipartisan group of their colleagues calling for volunteer fire departments to be exempt from certain parts of the rule. The senators wrote, quote, volunteer firefighters have indicated they lack the financial resources and personnel to comply with this rule. For many departments, implementation of this rule would render significant shares of their equipment non-compliant. The financial burden associated with replacing that equipment and furnishing reports, assessments, trainings, and health services required by the rule would be prohibitive for volunteer fire departments whose budgets are already strained.
The return to class is right around the corner, and many Maine kids and schools are gearing up for their arrival. In Bangor, David Ledford sat down with the district's new superintendent, who says the department is focusing on the needs of the students as the first day of school inches closer.
We are looking at two overarching goals, which are attendance and achievement.
Dr. Marie Robinson took over as superintendent of the Bangor School Department last month. And with the first day of school already on the horizon, she has her eyes set on reducing absenteeism and making students feel welcome.
Focusing on the mental health, inclusivity, and all of that is really the pathway towards the student achievement.
Robinson is the former superintendent of Katahdin Schools. Just last year, their district boosted attendance by 5%. She hopes to replicate that in Bangor by keeping students engaged.
Each of the schools are really looking at enhancing some of the learning opportunities and doing things a little differently where students have some voice and choice.
The return to class comes amid a statewide teacher shortage. However, Robinson says they've had good luck in that area. While they are still looking for more support staff, she says the department has been able to fill a number of other positions.
We do not have any openings for administrators or any certified staff. We are really looking at speech and language, food service, custodial, ed techs. We have 27 openings at this point. So I feel very good about that given our national shortage.
To learn how to apply for any of the open positions in the Bangor School Department, visit our website. In Bangor, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's still some summer left, though. All right, the time now is 8:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, 1,600 Mainers gathered to walk, run, and cycle to raise money for cancer care, which will support clinical trials and patient needs. We'll take you there.
But first, another check of your weather forecast. Today, a cloudy day with a chance of thunderstorms later on. Highs around 75 degrees. Scattered rain and thunderstorms overnight. Lows dropping down to around 60. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers. Highs on Tuesday around 65. We'll be right back.
I have prepared a Thomas's breakfast for you to savor together.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, are English muffins from England?
Heavens no. They're from the pantry.
Are you from England?
Nay, I am also from the pantry. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
It is said that the eyes are the windows into the soul, which begs the question, can a window have a soul? At Renewal by Andersen, we think so. When it's a window forged from Fibrix and over 100 years of refined craftsmanship, the essence of who we are transforms into a superior, stunningly beautiful window. So yes, a window can have a soul. For a limited time, take advantage of this great offer. Find out why we are the better way to a better window. Renewal by Andersen.
When My Mechanic Company wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. My Mechanic Company, located in Carmel, is your go-to for auto repair. Whether you need brakes, tires, diagnostics, or a state inspection, My Mechanic has you covered. Come see why My Mechanic should be your mechanic.
We've got an all-new game with a new way to play. It's Cash Pop from the Maine Lottery. You just pick one number from 1 to 15. If your number's drawn, you win. Just like that, with cash prizes up to $2,500 and 5 drawings every day. You gotta make it pop with Cash Pop.
Who's guilty of the best performance?
There are clues everywhere.
Is it an athlete in the buffalo costume with the 80s hit?
Who is this?
Is it a supermodel in the showbird feathers with the R&B bob? Is it a movie star in the wasp outfit with the dance song? Get a clue.
We need more clues.
And find out. The all-new season of The Masked Singer premieres Wednesday, September 25th on Fox.
Hundreds of people gathered in Brewer Saturday to walk, run, and cycle, all to raise money for cancer care. Our Kelly Warren takes us to the 2024 Champion the Cure Challenge.
3, 2, 1, go!
This is more than a leisurely stroll or bike ride.
These participants are helping to expand cancer care right here in Maine. Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center held its 15th annual Champion the Cure Challenge on Saturday, which brought together around 1,600 participants and raised funds and awareness for cancer.
I think giving back is one of the most rewarding things, so we hope that everyone that came today think beyond just the event itself, but think about what they mean to cancer patients in our area.
Both cancer survivors and Champion the Cure supporters walked, ran, and cycled their way around Brewer. According to Northern Light Cancer Care, proceeds raised from the challenge will support clinical trials and patient needs, from transportation to lodging.
The treatment I got here at Lafayette Center, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I still feel a great support from the team, and I love coming here so other people can benefit from the treatment like I got.
If you missed Saturday's challenge, there are still multiple ways to participate and support Northern Light Health's cancer care. Visit our website at foxbangor.com for more information. In Brewer, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Local veterans in need got a big boost on Saturday when the Maine Veterans Project received its largest donation ever. The money will go towards heating and other essential needs for veterans all around the state. The money, more than $50,000, was donated by Masonic motorcycle group The Widow's Sons on their annual charity ride. Doc Goodwin, the president of the Maine Veterans Project, says it's the biggest contribution the 9-year-old organization has received to date.
What this means to us is that we can make moves. $25,000 of this is going to go immediately into our heating fuel budget on Monday.
So this is the first time that we've chose Maine Veterans Project as our beneficiary for our charity ride. Veteran support is very important to us as Freemasons and the Widow's Sons.
Well, the funds were collected from community donors. To leave your own donation for the Maine Veterans Project, you can visit our website at foxbangor.com.
The local food pantry in Machias has become a staple over the years that many families rely on. This past year, they've more than doubled the number of families they can serve after opening a brand new facility. Our Grace Blanchard shows us.
The Machias Area Food Pantry has been around for decades.
Our pantry originally started back in 1986 in the basement of Center Street Congregational Church in Machias.
But last August, they moved out of the basement and opened a brand new facility thanks to community donations.
We were about 1/3 of this size that we were operating with, and so this is great because we are able to offer great indoor shopping for people.
Before, they could only serve roughly a dozen families weekly. Now, they distribute to nearly 200 families.
We had to bag everything for people, and people didn't get to come in and choose what they wanted. They got a bag of stuff, everybody got the same thing.
That's important, that they have that power and ability to pick, to be able to grocery shop for themselves.
Much of the food comes from the Good Shepherd Food Bank. They also receive community donations and fresh produce from local gardens.
This makes a big difference, in our local food assistance programs, to have access to that fresh produce that otherwise might not be there or might be coming from further away, just not the same quality.
The co-director of the food pantry says their shelves will remain stocked as long as there's still a need in the community.
We're hopeful that we will be able to continue to provide lots of great food for people.
In Machias, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
It's great.
Wow, you can't beat fresh produce.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The time now is 8:18. After the break, Hurricane Ernesto is moving out to sea, but Maine may be experiencing some lasting effects of the storm, as experts warn of powerful and dangerous rip currents.
We'll have the very latest on the situation as Good Morning Maine continues.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you.
Current qualified Chevy lessees can get this Silverado for around $359 a month.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Mainers are tough as nails. And when it comes to quitting smoking or vaping, we don't give up. Because Mainers know every quit attempt is a step in the right direction. The Maine Quit Link offers free help to stop smoking and vaping, including personalized quit plans and free nicotine gum, patches, and lozenges. Because quitting tobacco with a little extra help is more successful than quitting cold turkey. Quit like a Mainer. Enroll online at MaineQuitLink.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
When Triumph Professional Cleaning Services wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Triumph Professional Cleaning Services, located in Brewer, creates an environment of cleanliness by providing outstanding commercial cleaning services to eastern and central Maine.
Major League Baseball, all season long on Fox.
It is season 7.
It's the musical game with the bestest prize. Beat Shazam, all new Tuesdays on Fox.
Hurricane Ernesto is moving out to sea, but its effects will be felt here in Maine over the next 24 hours. Experts are warning of powerful and dangerous rip currents at Maine beaches through tonight. Asia Reed breaks down what to expect and what to do if you're ever caught in that worst-case scenario.
Despite a rainy Sunday, folks still soaked up the last few weeks of August at Wells Beach. Not too many people were spotted in the water Sunday. A few surfers and a couple kids dipping their toes in the ocean. That could be due in part to a high surf advisory issued by the National Weather Service that's in effect until 8 o'clock Monday night. This comes as a result of Ernesto, sending powerful rip currents all across the East Coast as the storm moves further into the Atlantic. Through the day Monday, Maine beaches will see large breaking waves of 5 to 7 feet, creating dangerous swimming and surfing conditions. Wells Beach Ocean Rescue Captain Grace Mercier says beachgoers need to be extra cautious right now.
The water wants to naturally flow north or up the beach here, but when it hits the rocks, it has nowhere to go but out.
Meaning these powerful currents pull people away from the shore, accounting for 80% of beach rescues, according to the United States Life-Saving Association.
There's a couple different ways to see a rip current. If you see like a line of white water that kind of goes out to sea, that might be a sign. If there's a discoloration in the water, or if there's a break in the waves, like a gap.
Lieutenant Junior Grade Matthew Bartnick with the U.S. Coast Guard says it's a dangerous time to be in the ocean right now.
It's extremely dangerous for people who are inexperienced or don't know how to get out of a rip current.
Swim parallel to the beach, so not against the rip current. People immediately think, okay, I'm going to swim straight to shore, but that's not right.
Mercier says once you no longer feel the rip current, that's when you can swim to shore.
Now to the flood emergency here in parts of the Northeast. Overnight, flash floods, mudslides, and widespread destruction in parts of Connecticut and New Jersey. Nearly a foot of rain falling in just hours in western Connecticut. Streets and sidewalks were suddenly overwhelmed by water moving fast enough to carry away cars. At least 2 people were missing overnight after they were swept away by the current. In New Jersey, a major highway was brought to a standstill by half of a foot of rain, and trains between New York and Philadelphia stopped running for a time. The storm also canceling and delaying hundreds of flights. And in North Carolina, storm surge from Ernesto washed a home right off of its foundation. Meanwhile, Hurricane Ernesto is still causing chaos on the coast after causing damage in Bermuda.
We lucked out. Looks like we're dodging a bullet here when it comes to Ernesto. We'll just have to maybe deal with a few showers out there.
I know. Other parts of the Northeast, as we saw, were not as lucky.
Yeah.
But hey, on that note, let's turn it over to our local meteorologist, Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Some areas of dense fog greeting us from parts of Millinocket to Princeton to Moose Horn and areas further off towards the south and west. So these areas in Washington County and areas further off towards the south and west dealing with some fog for a while. We'll start to see things improve a little bit as the day progresses on. Surprisingly, no dense fog advisories in effect for the time being. However, high surf advisories and small crowd advisories posted. The small crowd advisory lasting until 6 a.m. Tuesday. The high surf advisory will expire at midnight early Tuesday morning. As for the wave heights, you can see why wave heights are very active right now, from around 4 to 9 feet closer toward land, 11 feet further out towards sea. And here's Ernesto right about in here. You can tell where the wave heights are very active because of that hurricane tracking off towards the north and east. Meanwhile, on land, just some clouds passing through for the time being. Otherwise, just a few showers that are greeting us, tracking from the south and west going to the north and east. Nothing too ridiculous there. We're going to see more showers and storms pretty much along the coast here, tracking off towards the north and east. We'll have a few of those today. Plenty of dry hours as well. Here's Ernesto right about in here too, tracking off towards the north and east as a hurricane. It will stay away from us. Just some active surf that we'll have to watch out for. But otherwise, across the mainland, just some areas seeing some showers and storms. But for us, we'll have our turn for a few showers and storms today. But overall, nothing too ridiculous to watch out for. Futurecast moving forward, a few showers and a rumble of thunder today. We'll have more of those on the way later on tonight with better opportunities overnight into parts of early Tuesday morning. We'll have some dry hours as we head towards early Tuesday morning, but notice the showers and a few rumbles of thunder will be on the way yet again by Tuesday evening and parts of early Wednesday morning. So we will have daily chances for showers and storms to watch out for at least 2 parts of Wednesday. As for the rainfall, nothing too ridiculous for us, maybe around a half inch to 3/4 of an inch in a few spots before we're all finished up. It's very hit and miss for today, but then we'll have a few more chances through Thursday. So throughout the week, some spots up to a half an inch and other spots up to an inch of rainfall. Again, hit and miss before we're all finished up. Your forecast coming up for today, mostly cloudy with a few thunderstorms, highs in the mid-70s, and a south wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, here we go, scattered showers and thunderstorms with lows in the lower 60s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, here we go, mostly cloudy, some showers possible, highs in the mid-60s and a north wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, let's check out the extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. More showers and thunderstorms possible Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Upper 70s for your Friday under a partly cloudy sky.
I'm Jared Golden, and it's a privilege to represent you. Whether in the Marines or in Congress, being able to serve my fellow Mainers is reward enough. Unfortunately, some here try to profit off this privilege by trading on insider information in the stock market. That's why I'm working with Republicans and Democrats to ban members of Congress from trading individual stocks. I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because Congress shouldn't be about getting rich. It should only be about serving you.
This summer is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai models. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey. Hurry into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. But act fast, the hottest deals of the summer won't last. Get in and get away now. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month or get 1.99% APR or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry in to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
You can feel it when your dream becomes a pursuit. And with vitiligo, the pursuit for your pigment is no exception. It's time you had a proven choice to help restore what's yours. Opzelura is the first and only FDA-approved prescription treatment for non-segmental vitiligo. Proven to help repigment skin over time, restoring what's yours. It's possible with a steroid-free cream that you can apply yourself.
Opzelura can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB or hepatitis B or C. Serious lung infections, skin cancer, blood clots, and low blood cell counts occurred with Opzelura. In people taking JAK inhibitors, serious infections, increased risk of death, lymphoma, other cancers, and major cardiovascular events have occurred. The most common side effects were acne and itching where applied.
Repigmentation is possible. Ask your dermatologist today about starting or refilling Opzelura. Pursue it.
A Michigan man is being held without bail, accused of trying to kidnap 2 girls on the same day. ABC's Allison Kosick has the details.
People versus Andy Bala.
This morning, a 23-year-old is charged in the attempted kidnappings of 2 girls in separate incidents outside Detroit in broad daylight. Both attempts were thwarted by Good Samaritans.
I have a lot of anger and aggravation and rage.
Alicia Swakowski was at a park with her son and 7-year-old niece on Tuesday when police say Andy Bala pulled up in a car and approached her niece.
He went out of his car, back around, grabbed her, and then tried to get into the passenger seat, and we just met right through the middle there.
Moments later, the suspect driving away, hitting Swakowski's 8-year-old son as she hung out of the car's window. That's when bystander Scott Van Leuven saw what was happening.
I literally pulled him out of the car and just held him against his car until police got here.
And just an hour before, police say the same suspect tried to kidnap a 15-year-old girl just a few miles away.
He asked if he could drive me home twice, and I refused both times, and I started walking off.
The suspect grabbing her by the wrist. Paul Billiter was nearby when he heard screaming.
I ran out there and I grabbed a hold of the guy, and he told me, he said, "Oh, I'm her father."
Neighbors called police, but the man sped away. It was only after the second alleged kidnapping attempt that police were able to arrest him.
Both girls are safe, and the 8-year-old boy suffered only minor scrapes. Safety experts say as children head back to school, parents should have conversations with their kids about staying safe while walking home or waiting for the bus, adding to avoid writing your child's name on their backpack so strangers don't call their name and confuse them. Allison Kosick, ABC News, New York.
Overseas now to the war between Israel and Hamas. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arriving in Israel last night amid intense pressure to achieve a ceasefire agreement. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that the negotiations are very complex. ABC's foreign correspondent Tom Sufi Burridge reporting from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, as Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in Israel, negotiations to get a ceasefire in Gaza now at risk of being derailed. After days of talks in Doha, Hamas appearing to reject new proposals, accusing Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu of obstructing a deal. Israel's war in Gaza raging on. 5 killed in an airstrike in central Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Injured children rushed from the scene. Today, Netanyahu setting out a red line in the talks, saying Israeli troops must remain along Gaza's border with Egypt to prevent arms being smuggled in. On Friday, President Biden said an agreement was closer than ever. Today, Netanyahu accusing Hamas of refusing to budge. The talks also looking at whether Palestinian prisoners convicted of serious terror offences could be traded for hostages. Today, family and friends of Romi Gonen, an Israeli hostage still held inside Gaza after she was kidnapped from that music festival on October 7th, marked her 24th birthday. Her mum Mirav pleading for a deal to bring her daughter home.
I need actions. Talks is very good, but we need the actions, and we are waiting for the actions. And this is something we have to be focused on, the actions that will come after the talks.
And Secretary Blinken due to meet Prime Minister Netanyahu tomorrow morning, with Blinken heading to Egypt Tuesday as the US pushes for a breakthrough in the coming days. Tom Sufi Burridge, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
And of course, those negotiations will be complicated because it's not reported that Hamas will be there. So that's a major issue. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, Belfast's annual cardboard boat races took place over the weekend. We'll have footage of whose cardboard boat could best withstand the ocean water.
We'll join the fun as Good Morning Maine continues.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
Lowry & Associates can be your lawyers, and there's no fee unless they win your case.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee.
Lowry & Associates settled my case for $195,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
When it comes to automotive and heavy equipment repair, trust the experts at CTI Service Center, located in Old Town and Milford. CTI offers heavy-duty part sales at our Old Town location, as well as on-the-road service with our heavy-duty mobile units. CTI also offers tire sales, including mount and spin balance, as well as Old Town's only heavy-duty alignment system. CTI Service Center diagnoses issues swiftly and accurately. For reliable service and peace of mind, give us a call or visit us online at ctiservicecenter.com. CTI Service Center, simply the best.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, August 19th, 2024, and it is also National Potato Day.
This popular food has been around for centuries and can be enjoyed baked, mashed, chipped, and many other ways. It's definitely a dietary supplement, but it's really nutritionally important because it's affordable and you can make it into so many things that are delicious and fairly nutritious.
And they're so good.
Yeah. Potatoes are versatile, but also they're a great source of iron, potassium, and vitamin C. The Incas of Peru were the first to cultivate the potato, and Thomas Jefferson was known to enjoy French fries at the White House. Speaking of fries, 1 out of every 3 people surveyed say that McDonald's are their favorite place to buy fries, followed by Burger King and Wendy's.
I kind of like the steak cut fries. I like the curly fries.
Yep. I like hand cut fries. I like McDonald's fries. I like all sorts of fries.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think baked potatoes are my least favorite way to make a potato, just because it takes so long to bake a potato. But
nothing like a nice baked potato with some sour cream and all the goodies on
bacon,
it.
chives, cheese.
Yeah, you got a meal in itself right there.
Right, true.
Happy National Potato Day, everyone. All right, on this day in history, back in 1779, Francis Scott Key was born in Frederick County, Maryland. After witnessing the British bombardment of Fort McHenry, he was enthralled to see the American flag was still flying over that fort the following morning. He then, of course, wrote a poem originally titled Defense of Fort McHenry, which became our U.S. national anthem in 1931. The flag was still there.
I always forget that.
Yeah. In 1812, the U.S. frigate Constitution defeated a British ship east of Nova Scotia during the War of 1812, earning its nickname of Old Ironsides. A lot of people visiting Boston have seen that docked in the harbor down there. In 1848, the discovery of gold in California was first reported by the New York Herald. And in 1955, torrential rains caused by Hurricane Diane resulted in severe flooding across the Northeast, killing some 200 people.
And in 1960, American U-2 pilot Gary Powers was shot down while flying high above Russia. Convicted of espionage, Powers was released 2 years later as part of a prisoner exchange. In 1991, Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev was placed under house arrest while on vacation in Ukraine. The coup attempt by Soviet hardliners failed 2 days later, and Gorbachev returned to office. In 2010, Operation Iraqi Freedom came to an end when the last U.S. combat brigade left the country. And in 2020, Apple Incorporated became the first company to be valued at over $2 trillion.
Wish I would have invested way back when.
Yeah, like 40 years ago or something like it.
I didn't know anything about that back then.
Right.
So. All right, for birthdays today, they include actor John Stamos, who is 61 years old today. Former President Bill Clinton is 78, and actress Kara Sedgwick turns 59 years old today. So happy birthday to all of them. Bill Clinton looks like he's a little lost in that picture. You know, he's like, what do I do with my keys?
Yeah. I get a little lost sometimes too. It's okay,
Bill.
Do you?
Yeah, me too. And I forget my keys sometimes too.
Yes, me too. All right, moving right along now. It's going to be a rainy day, a cloudy day.
Yeah, so Jody Hershey came in. She said it was already raining out there a little bit this morning. So
yeah. Don't do your hair before you leave the house.
It's one of those days. Wear a hat.
Right. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, and heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Lots of areas seeing some fog from Princeton to Moosehorn and areas further off towards the south and west along the southern parts of Maine, mainly along Bangor to even Millinocket. and areas further down to the south, so visibilities will be reduced for a while this morning, so please be careful with that. Surprisingly, no dense fog advisories posted, at least at this moment in time. We do have high surf advisories posted along the coast. That'll last until midnight Tuesday morning. Small crowd advisories also lasting until 6 a.m. along the coast on Tuesday morning. Also, and that's because of Ernesto moving out towards sea. That's that hurricane moving across the Atlantic at this time. Meanwhile, on land, it's a few showers to watch out for. Otherwise, clouds moving through. We'll have a few showers and a rumble of thunder today, but plenty of dry hours will greet us as well. Meanwhile, there's the showers and even a few rumbles of thunder developing along the main coastline, tracking off towards the north and east. Here's Ernesto right about in here, and that will be moving away from us. Futurecast moving forward, showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder today, and also in the parts of tonight, we'll start to see things dry out a little bit as we head towards the daytime tomorrow, at least during the early morning period. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, showers and storms possible, otherwise cloudy with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, competitors and spectators gathered at Steamboat Landing in Belfast for the city's annual cardboard boat races on Sunday.
It's a yearly event put on during the Belfast Harbour Fest where coworkers, families, and friends race out to a buoy and back to shore again before their homemade vessel sinks. Our Jody Hersey has more.
Boats of all shapes and sizes filled the waters of Belfast Harbour on Sunday, including some eye-catching cardboard boats.
Ready? Let's go!
Every summer, the cardboard boat races are held at Steamboat Landing in Belfast, where teams enter a friendly, wet, and sometimes cold competition with other sailors, racing out to a buoy and back to shore ahead of their rivals. This is the third time Josh Merrifield of Belmont and Bruno Borzoni of Belfast signed up to participate. They named their red, white, and blue vessel Ramrod.
I think everybody just enjoys it, whether you sink, you make it all the way out or you sink, it doesn't matter. Everybody's out here to have fun.
Shannon Scheimer, who competed all by herself in a boat named Miss Piggy, is new to the racing scene.
This year, a colleague of mine at work had just ordered a couch and had the perfect box, and I said, this is my year.
These races are just one of many community events sponsored by the Belfast Rotary. Greg Dutch is one of the organization's members.
We started with one boat the first year, and it keeps on growing every year.
According to Dutch, the only rules that participants need to follow is to make sure that their boats are strictly made out of cardboard, water-based paint, and duct tape.
I was surprised with how long some of them lasted out there and just the variety of design.
15 boats competed in all, with Ramrod earning the win as well as bragging rights.
Well, I knew after we painted it, it looked pretty fast, so.
Even inspiring future racers to take the plunge.
And I am going to make one at home for sure.
In Belfast, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
That would be a blast.
Yeah, I just want to know how, I've been saying this all morning, how they seal it, because it can't just be cardboard. They painted it.
Yeah, they can paint it and maybe spray some polyurethane on it or
and paint would count as like a sealant too.
Yeah, and the cardboard will stay afloat for a certain amount of time.
It got to be quick.
Yeah, we got to make our own boat next year.
That'd
be fun.
Sounds like fun. Okay, right after the break, we have a new segment. If you weren't around a week ago on Monday, we have a new segment called Market Watch. We check out Facebook Marketplace finds.
Yeah, you'll be finding some neat things on there. Don't go away.
These days you can buy a new mattress anywhere. However, getting the right mattress at the right price will keep you up at night. When you're ready for a new mattress, come to Dorsey's. We've delivered more mattresses to this area than any other retailer. With over 48 years of experience, the largest in-stock selection, plus our 30-night sleep guarantee, we've got the right mattress for you at a great price. Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A, Holden. Sleep well, my friends.
Had enough of long lines, empty shelves, and overcrowded megastores? Discover Parity Shop and Save in Brewer, your local culinary oasis in the North Brewer Shopping Center. Revel in fresh produce, pantry must-haves, organic delights, and Aroostook County's beloved products, all affordable and high quality. Can't find an item? We'll special order it. Shop with us today and feel the difference of our family-run, community-focused grocery experience.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
Tom. You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam.
How have we got to Tam?
Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
AMHG Works LLC, American-made home goods, located at the Rennie's Plaza in Bangor. Come check us out. We're open 7 days a week, featuring artisans, crafters, and manufacturers from across the United States, where everything is meticulously designed with care and pride. We also have a wide selection of pet accessories and treats. Let us be your new favorite store. We look forward to seeing you.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, chances are you have a lot of questions. Norm Prouty has answers. Learn some tips and tricks and explore some beautiful new homes on the market. The Norm Prouty and Donnell Baker Real Estate Show, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on Fox 22.
25 words or less.
Oyster. You're so shellfish.
Every weekday
on Fox 22.
All right.
Time for Market Watch.
Right, welcome back. Okay, so yeah, starting off, this is our second week doing Market Watch.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this before, we look at Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Right.
And you're like, did you see this? Did you see that? You find some neat things on there sometimes.
I know, I love it. I know our team does. But let's get right into it this morning. Starting off this morning, what do we have? These are surprises to us as well every day. Sometimes we'll find some to comment
That's cool.
on, but R2D2 Pepsi cooler in Auburn. Wow, definitely for a collector. Very cool. Asking $300. I've never seen anything like it.
I haven't either.
Very cool.
Be great for the Star Wars fan out there.
Yeah, right. Man cave type of thing.
All right, moving on to the next one. What do we got here? Oh, it's a Globe bar cart.
Ooh.
I've seen those before. Those are kind of cool. They open up and you can hide all your adult
goodies.
beverages and things like that in there.
Also, it's just very classy to have a globe in your house.
Yeah.
Like that's a nice touch.
This is something a gentleman would have in his study or something like that.
I have a globe.
You know?
I have a globe in my study.
Yeah, that's $100. You get it down to Bath.
Yeah, beautiful. I like it. It looks like it's designed to be an antique.
Oh,
Moxie Box in Heartland. You know, Moxie, the guy who created Moxie, was from Maine. I believe he was from Union. I believe, but he created it before Coca-Cola, and so Coca-Cola stole the idea of Moxie. I love Moxie.
Yeah,
I love
don't like it.
I'll have a Moxie float, like a root beer float. Oh.
It's one of those things people either love it or they just don't like it.
Yep.
I've tried it, and every now and then I'll try it again, but nah, it's not mine. It tastes like medicine to me.
I know, which it was designed to be medicine.
Sarah behind the camera over there, she agrees. She thinks it tastes like medicine.
I would put that that cart in my house. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
what a nice piece.
Kind of neat. So that's it for Market Watch. We have one more?
We have one more.
Let's see the last one real quick.
There we go. Wow.
What the heck is this?
A plane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a nice plane. All right. Yeah, you see those. I couldn't tell what it was.
Right. You need glasses.
Yeah, I do. A 1950 airplane. Good to go. $109,000.
Look at that. Beautiful.
That is kind of a nice little airplane.
Right,
though.
yeah. For folks who want to land on the lake.
Yeah, I would love to have an airplane someday. It would help if
and
I knew
a pilot's license.
Yeah, and a pilot's license. I was going to say it would help if I knew how to fly too. But,
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Something for everybody.
That's it for now.
That's it. All right. Yeah. So
we have a special email address, you said?
We have a special email.
Okay.
If you want to promote any cool, unique, strange finds that you're either selling or you found, send them to marketwatch@wvii.com, and we definitely prefer the link if it's better to send them from a computer than your smartphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've learned that the hard way too.
I know, me too.
Yeah, kind of neat. You never know what you're going to find out there.
Fun stuff.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back with more.
I was hurt in a bad motorcycle accident. I tried to handle it on my own, but I could tell quickly I was in way over my head. The other driver's insurance company was very difficult to work with. That's why I decided to call Joe. Smartest move I ever made. I went from being completely overwhelmed with doctor's appointments and medical bills to feeling normal again. Joe Bornstein's office took care of everything. I was completely satisfied with the outcome. I wish I'd called sooner.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
My PTSD, I tried drowning it in alcohol.
Everybody just got the bare minimum of me while I gave myself to alcohol.
As someone who has a drinking disorder, I hit the vet centers. That changed my life.
I mean, if you've already gone through whatever you've gone through, you've got the courage to walk into the VA.
and get the help you need.
Watch more stories and find resources about alcohol use disorder at maketheconnection.net/alcohol use disorder.
It's Toyota's national sales event. Swipe into end of summer fun with an exciting new Toyota. Whether you're paddleboarding in a RAV4, mountain biking in a Tacoma, or tubing with your best friends in a Camry, you'll find plenty to post about all summer long.
You could get affordable 5.49 financing for 60 months on a fun-to-drive Corolla sedan, which could save you up to $900. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Come in today. Ooh, like
Toyota, let's go places.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday Brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot.
The Belfast Rotary Club is celebrating a milestone. The civic organization, which meets weekly at the Shrine Club in Belfast, is marking its 100th anniversary.
And to celebrate this special occasion, the Rotary is choosing to gift the community with a pirate ship-themed playground at the Belfast City Park for children of all ages and abilities to enjoy.
The motto of Rotary, which you probably know, is service above self. And so people who care about something greater than themselves tend to join Rotary.
There are many people in my generation that benefited from what Rotary did here in the Belfast area when we were growing up. And so there's many of us who just decided that it's our time to now give back. We're raising our kids and our families here, and it's time to pass on that generosity.
The Belfast Rotary currently has 70 members. To join or to learn more about the events the Belfast Rotary sponsors year after year, log on to belfastrotary.org. And I'm so glad to hear they're getting a new playground. I know there was one at the city park.
Yeah.
Really fun playground. It's definitely, I don't know if it's been condemned or whatever the version of that is for a playground, but it's aging.
I think it's haunted. That's what's going on.
That's okay.
Don't tell the kids that.
No.
It's really not haunted.
It's not haunted.
Just wanted to see
Starting
your face.
conspiracies on the morning show, are we? It's only Monday.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. I apologize.
Okay. Now we have a look at Hollywood Nation. A first look at Ryan. Oh, now you're at
Okay,
Ryan.
there you go. I was fast forwarding it for you.
Thank you so much. Here's Hollywood Nation.
It's not haunted. It really isn't.
Drive.
Twisters storms home, Perry scores a top honor, and Kelsey makes his acting debut in the Hollywood Nation.
Something is happening.
Ryan Murphy released a first look at his new FX series, Grotesquerie, which gives a glimpse at football star Travis Kelce's first foray into acting. He stars alongside Niecy Nash-Betts, who plays a detective investigating a string of heinous crimes that have unsettled a small community. The horror drama premieres September 25th. Katy Perry will receive MTV's coveted prize at the 2024 Video Music Awards next month. The global superstar is the recipient of this year's Video Vanguard Award. Perry will also perform a career-spanning medley of her biggest hits during the ceremony, which airs live from New York's UBS Arena September 11th. Irish rock band The Script dropped their new album, Satellites. It's their first major project since the passing of their beloved guitarist, Mark Sheehan.
What you're going to get from the album is a really clear and honest diary from the age I am and the age that we're living in, and trying to make sense of all the things that are going on around me, from love to loss, from life to grief.
Twisters spins into home entertainment, the blockbuster Disaster sequel, which earned more than $310 million at the global box office, is available to rent or buy digitally. The home release includes deleted scenes and a gag reel. Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar-Jones, and Anthony Ramos star as the new generation of storm chasers.
If you feel it, chase it!
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Really looking forward to seeing it. I love Twister.
Yeah.
And this one looks pretty action-packed too.
Am I wrong? I think it's 3D.
I don't know about that.
It might be 3D,
I don't know
but that
about
would be a good one to see 3D.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It just looks awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
As far as our weather's concerned, just looks kind of like a soggy day out there. A chance of thunder showers as Hurricane Ernesto passes well out to sea. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with a direct hit from that.
Yeah, just some rain.
Yeah.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Alrighty, here we go this morning. Some areas of dense fog greeting us from parts of Millinocket to Princeton to Moose Horn and areas further off towards the south and west. So these areas in Washington County and areas further off towards the south and west dealing with some fog for a while. We'll start to see things improve a little bit as the day progresses on. Surprisingly, no dense fog advisories in effect for the time being. However, high surf advisories and small crowd advisories posted. The small crowd advisory lasting until 6 a.m. Tuesday. The high surf advisory will expire at midnight early Tuesday morning. As for the wave heights, you can see why wave heights are very active right now, from around 4 to 9 feet closer toward land, 11 feet further out towards sea. And here's Ernesto right about in here. You can tell where the wave heights are very active because of that hurricane tracking off towards the north and east. Meanwhile, on land, just some clouds passing through for the time being. Otherwise, just a few showers that are greeting us, tracking from the south and west going to the north and east. Nothing too ridiculous there. We're going to see more showers and storms pretty much along the coast here, tracking off towards the north and east. We'll have a few of those today. Plenty of dry hours as well. Here's Ernesto right about in here too, tracking off towards the north and east as a hurricane. It will stay away from us. Just some active surf that we'll have to watch out for. But otherwise, across the mainland, just some areas seeing some showers and storms. But for us, we'll have our turn for a few showers and storms today. But overall, nothing too ridiculous to watch out for. Futurecast moving forward, a few showers and a rumble of thunder today. We'll have more of those on the way later on tonight with better opportunities overnight into parts of early Tuesday morning. We'll have some dry hours as we head towards early Tuesday morning, but notice the showers and a few rumbles of thunder will be on the way yet again by Tuesday evening and parts of early Wednesday morning. So we will have daily chances for showers and storms to watch out for at least 2 parts of Wednesday. As for the rainfall, nothing too ridiculous for us, maybe around a half inch to 3/4 of an inch in a few spots before we're all finished up. It's very hit and miss for today, but then we'll have a few more chances through Thursday. So throughout the week, some spots up to a half an inch and other spots up to an inch of rainfall. Again, hit and miss before we're all finished up. Your forecast coming up for today, mostly cloudy with a few thunderstorms, highs in the mid-70s, and a south wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, here we go, scattered showers and thunderstorms with lows in the lower 60s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, here we go, mostly cloudy, some showers possible, highs in the mid-60s and a north wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, let's check out the extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. More showers and thunderstorms possible Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s, upper 70s for your Friday under a partly cloudy sky.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry & Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
This summer is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai models. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey. Hurry into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. But act fast. The hottest deals of the summer won't last. Get in and get away now. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month or get 1.99% APR or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry in to the Hyundai Getaway Sale.
91-year-old George Ebert celebrated his birthday by skydiving with a dozen family members. When the Navy veteran was turning 90, he decided to go skydiving, saying it was on his bucket list. He loved it so much he returned to jump again to celebrate his 91st birthday. George all smiles as he prepared to jump with the same instructor as last year and says he plans to return every year. And you know, I think it shows you're never too old to check something off of your bucket list. And
I was just thinking I was
there
too
he
old.
goes.
You know, maybe I should check that one off my bucket list.
You still, go skydiving.
I don't know.
There you go. I'll go with you.
I'll go with you, yeah. If I had a friend doing it, maybe I would.
Yeah, we can go.
You know, I love the idea, but actually doing it, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're about out of time. If you missed anything, head to foxbangor.com.
Have a great day, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, I just want to say to all those haters who thought he'd fail as a co-host,